Welcome to Formula One's Media and Technology Centre in South East London, the world's largest intercontinental remote production system. Formula One creates a TV broadcast which is sent to 74 different broadcasters around the world, 180 territories to be exact. But how is this possible? At the racetrack is the Event Technical Centre, which collects all the footage and data from around the circuit, and then transmits over 500 terabytes back to London where the broadcast is produced, and distributes the live international feed to broadcasters around the world. And all of this just results in a latency delay of 1.5 seconds from what happens on the track to then what the broadcasters are getting. Now, all of these broadcasters will have their own presenters and reporters at the races creating their own show. But with 5 minutes to go, all the broadcasters will sync up using the starting point of the intro sequence. When you're seeing this, all the broadcast is then looked after by Formula One. Imagine it that Formula One are giving you a HDMI cable, and on that is a video link to watch the entire race. So everything from the title sequence all the way until the checkered flag. But the only thing they're not supplying though is commentary, and that's what the broadcasters are doing. So that's why they can do their own reporters or presenters and do it in their own language. And so that international TV feed is produced here, where they're controlling over 120 live camera feeds, creating the on-screen graphics like telemetry or driver radios, building over 90 onboard cameras, mastering 170 audio sources, editing their digital output, and so much more. But for this video, we're going to be focusing on 4 main areas within the Media and Technology Centre, that being the TV gallery, the audio mastering, driver radios, and then my favourite, the onboard camera department. But you might be thinking, why is this all being done remotely anyway? Well, that used to be the case with all of the production being done on site. Most of the team would fly out to these racetracks, build up the operation from there, and then push the TV feed out to broadcasters. But that's not the case for Formula One anymore. During COVID, many sports broadcasters had to rethink their approach to follow government guidelines. And that's where, like a lot of us, began doing remote working. They still have around 130 F1 TV employees go out to do the actual production on site, but they also have 140 crew do that remotely from here, with the full team including 117 engineers, 68 operation technicians and electricians, 50 editors, and 48 producers. Let's go into our first area, and one of the coolest looking. This is the TV gallery. Here is where almost everything is on display on 415 monitors, where the director, producers, and operators look over the entire race. In here, there are actually 2 TV galleries, one which works on the international TV feed, and the other for their own F1 TV broadcast. At the very front, you'll have the main director who will be choosing which shots they are wanting to have on screen, and next to him, you'll have the various producers all sitting on the front row, sitting next to the operators who will push the buttons for which camera to cut to. Behind them are replay operators who can load up any key moments or incidents. They have access to any camera on the circuit who can rewind to a specific feed which may not be even shown on the main broadcast to give viewers better context. So let's say the replay director has found a suitable clip of an incident that's happened on circuit. They'll then offer this up to the director of the broadcast to see if they want to produce it onto the live TV feed. Now, the director's role in this is showing you the biggest stories from that race and physically what you're seeing on screen. And for that, they have access to 90 onboard angles, 28 trackside cameras, 8 different camera operators within the pit lane, even a helicopter camera. It's a lot of information to take in, but that is where the producers help out to help tell the story of the race. So here's a quick example of how a producer can help support a director during the race. Now, the director can't be looking at the timing screens, they're just fixated on the image and instructing the operator of when to cut different camera angles. So let's say in this example, it's the middle of the race and the director is currently fixated on the top 3, just going from camera 1, then into camera 2, then into camera 3. But a producer has just noticed that someone in P9 is about to go for a move in P8. So with their headset on, they'll tell the director, Alonso is about to overtake someone for P8. Director will hear that and then tell the operator to switch over to the other cameras and then capture the moment. And that's how a producer can help support director during the race. So this is all done on the left-hand side of the gallery, and on the right-hand side, like I said before, this is where they do their own F1 TV broadcast. This is where they create their own show for the F1 TV subscription platform with their own presenters and their own commentators. And here I've got a live demonstration of how the TV replay wipes are done.
So what we've got here is our replay wipes. So you've got all drivers here, then you've got sort of race-specific replay wipes as well. So what we'll do is we're going to go to a Charles Leclerc replay, and then that's going to route directly into our vision mixer here. And then what we've got here is a loaded wipe. So when I hit loaded wipe, you're going to see a Charles Leclerc loaded wipe. We're downstream of the international feed, which sits on that side of the gallery. So we're an in-house broadcaster. So the best way of looking at us is, effectively we're the same thing as Sky, Canal Plus, ESPN, any international broadcaster around the world. The only thing that's slightly different about us is that we're in-house, is that we are part of the same company as the world feeds. The images that the boys down there are cutting together and sending to the world, we're taking those images and then we're putting our commentary team on top of it. So we have Alex Jakes, Jolyon Palmer, Sam Collins. We supply commentary, pre and post race shows around it. Phil, the main director over there, I'm hearing him all the time saying, okay, well, this is what we're going to next. And then we're feeding that downstream of us to our commentators, to our presenters.
Next to the galleries are the commentary booths to help support the F1 TV broadcast. Usually the commentators are on site at the races, but when they can't be, they'll be used here. Not only are these used for Formula 1, but also for Formula 2, Formula 3 and other support series. And right next door is where all the audio mastering happens for the broadcast.
So probably best to start with what they do on site. So at our Event Technical Centre, the ETC, we mix all of the track mics. That's up to 140 mics per race, all out round track, and they'll be mixing that live along with the camera shots. And then that one feed gets sent back to us in this building. And here we add on replays, onboard camera audio, team radio, full page graphics. So the submix effectively is on site, and then that gets sent back to this building where we add on the additional content. And that's what goes out to the 74 broadcasters who take our feed. Of course, we'll come in each morning, and the first thing we do is have a listen to every mic on the track, see how it sounds, see what's died in the night, and it's like, right, okay, we'll have a crew that'll go out first thing in a van. And from an audio point of view, what we're trying to do is take the viewer to the event. We're ultimately balancing in here, because you don't want to be sat at home turning your TV up and down, because you're hearing the team radio much louder than the track.
We then move on to the driver radio department. In here is where all of the driver radio clips are selected and where they create the graphics which are seen on screen.
This is the Team Radio transcribe software. Any radio graphic will be done from this machine. So on the right here we can see every single driver, and then if it's what we call a normal clip, we'll just select a driver and just click animate on. And then this is the transcribe software. I'll listen with the editors and hear what they say. So one of the Charles clips was him being told about free stops, so I'll just type it like this. So then I can choose which one is which, and then that's what we do a transcribe, and I'll choose Leclerc, and it will go out animated like that.
I will check the spelling. I'm like, yep, okay, everyone ready. Right, Phil, Leclerc, transcribe radio in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and at the end of it, when it's transcribed, I'll say radio out. I'll pause for about 2 seconds, give people a chance to read, then I'll say graphic out.
These presets at the bottom are the text-only presets. When they come up without any radio at all, any audio, we use them to not interrupt the commentator, simply enough. And getting a box call out with audio is very difficult because each engineer says it differently each time, and it tells the viewers as much as we can.
And now we arrive to the onboard camera department. In here is where they create, fix and work on all those small cameras. And waiting for us was Zhou Wengyu's onboard camera from that dramatic crash he had in Silverstone.
We develop all of the on-car systems for Formula 1, and that's migrates into Formula 2, into Formula 3. Every car has a camera on top of the roll hoop, which is this camera here. This is a polycarbonate version, so you can see what goes on inside it. The image is captured through this lens and sensor here. It's processed into a picture you can understand here. It's formatted into a signal we transmit through this antenna here to sites around the circuit. There are roughly about 45 sites around the circuit. In our garage at the track, we're monitoring all the pictures all of the time. There's a sensor inside the camera to detect moisture. You see dirt on the lens or you see water, and then you press a button, it sends a signal to this antenna here, which in turn drives this gear, pulls the film across the front of the camera, downloaded into a chamber here. It's 4 meters of clear film, and that will generally last the race weekend. But on Saturday night, we take all the cameras off Formula 1 and we refurbish them so that they're in the best possible condition they can be in. We have a neutral density filter. A neutral density filter controls the amount of light that goes into the lens. And then we've got a graduated filter so that the bottom half is lighter than the top half. That helps you with the exposure, because when you're looking forward and the sky's there, the sky's more burnt out, so we put a darker neutral density filter at the top. If you have an accident like this one, there's not much that you can recover, but just a nice thing to show people how robust they are. Obviously we have to replace this one, but on average we don't replace that many.
So what we do here is we manage the systems that enable radio communication between the cars on the track side. So obviously you're probably aware of the onboard camera that's on the car, the roll hoop, but what we're focusing on here is how do we get those pictures from the car to the track side and then from anywhere in the world back to Biggin Hill, our base, and then process those signals to then have the output of onboard camera, But also over that radio frequency signals, we've got the team telemetry data as well, team radio, so when the driver wants to communicate with the engineers and vice versa, and also car performance data that we use in the programming as well. So that's things like the speed, the gear, the steering wheel position, that all comes over those radio frequency systems.
And obviously just a huge thank you to Formula One for inviting me out. As a content creator, I don't get these opportunities that often, so I really do appreciate it. And I hope I did it justice. I hope you learned something new from this. If you did, then make sure to click the like button down below. And if you're new here, hey, why not click subscribe? But thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.